Welcome to What's Out There. I'm Gregory Marshall Smith, and today we are talking with Emmy Award-winning documentarian Caletta Harris. Thank you for joining us today, Caletta.
Thank you for having me.
Now, back on May 16th of this year, you took home an Emmy Award. Tell us about that.
Yes. We took home an Emmy Award on May 16th, like you just said, for our work for Healing with Grace. It's in homage of the Emmanuel 90th anniversary. So I am contracted with SCETV, South Carolina Education and Television, and I was the editor on that project. And that was the first time we ever got nominated for that piece, and the first time we actually got invited and won. So I was just excited to be nominated. So we actually won in the category of Outstanding Crime Justice for long format. So I am very thankful to my crew, Beryl Dakers and Daryl Hugie, for allowing me to edit this.
Okay, so you said this was the first time you were nominated, the first time you got invited to the actual event. What was the event? It was in Atlanta, right?
Yes.
What was that like?
Oh, it was amazing. Like the full red carpet experience, like a really, like you would think it was the Grammys or some huge award show. I want to say about over 1,000 people were there. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So that was my very first experience, and it was the Southeast Emmy Regional Award. So my very first one. So we want to continue to keep it coming.
Keep it going.
Yeah.
The documentary actually aired June 19th, 2025 on SCETV on the 10th anniversary of the Mother Emmanuel A Church shootings by white supremacist Dillard Group. And you also have your own company.
Yes.
And then you say you contract with SCETV, but you got your own company, Real to Real Productions.
Correct.
It's REEL to REAL Productions. How did that come about?
So I was working at a mega church in Tampa, Florida at the time, and I had to train a lot of the videographers. And one of the ladies, I was in my 20s at the time, and one of the ladies said, and she was in her 50s, and she said, if you ever started your own production company, I would work for you. And I was like, that's a thought, you know, and for her to think of that of me being so young. And I decided, yeah, I wanted to move up in the position, but I was already the director of television, so it was kind of no wiggle room to advance. And so I asked one of my colleagues, I told one of my colleagues that I wanted to start my own production company, but I need a name. I said, so what is the first thing that comes to mind when you think of me? And she said, well, you're real. I said, okay, I can play on that. So then I thought about the machine, the reel-to-reel machine, and how that kind of started in the industry, and then taking that into reality, REAL. So that's how reel-to-reel came about.
Wow. For the benefit of our audience, tell us what you kind of specialize in with reel-to-reel.
Yes, so we specialize in TV commercials, promo videos, sizzle reels, live events, documentaries. Anything that we can film and edit, you basically can do. That's what I say. Anything that you can film and edit, we can do.
Now, I'm going to change tracks here, get a little more serious. Something happened in 2013 that motivated you to take on a couple of really big societal projects.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
So in 2013, I was in my downtown office in Columbia, South Carolina, and I read in the newspaper that Columbia City Council wanted to do something about their homeless issue. And one of their options was jail. And I was appalled. I was like, a lot of the unsheltered congregate downtown, and I would communicate with them all the time. And I met some beautiful souls on the streets, you know? And I'm like, well, I'm an empath, so what if that were me and I had to leave a place where I'm from and I have nowhere to go? So I wanted to do something about it. So I started documenting what was going on around me. I already had a production company. So I asked my colleague, I said, well, I need to interview someone. And he said, well, meet me in the park this day, da da da. And my very first interview was a former classmate. And when he didn't remember me because he was 2 years older than me, but we were in drama class, and I was like, he's so talented, and I knew that he was going to either be a comedian or an actor. And so we going through the interview, and he just eloquently, explained the criminalization of homelessness and how they were being treated by law enforcement. And so after the interview, I introduced myself and told him that we were in the same class, and he remembered. And I said, well, what did you want to be when you grew up? And he said, a comedian or an actor. And I was like, look at that. So just life circumstances, just, led him to the streets. And from then on, I was like, this is my purpose. This is what I'm supposed to do in life. And then after that, the universe just led me to so many people to develop the story, and it developed into a full feature documentary. And then after that, I was curious to see what was going on around me in other cities. And I moved to Atlanta, and then I did the Atlanta piece. And I actually went to California as well, and I was going to do a 3-part series. But then I realized everywhere I go is the same situation, different phase. So I want to be a part of the solution, and then that's when I created the No Address Foundation, where we are obtaining land to build affordable, sustainable housing for the unsheltered and low-income families.
Wow. Now, for those who are not familiar with what he was referring to, in 2013, the Columbia City Council approved a plan to turn a riverfront shelter into a 24/7 operation for homeless to sleep, get food, and obtain medical help. But one of the caveats was that the police would aggressively enforce public nuisance laws to direct the homeless to the shelter, and if you didn't comply, you can get arrested. Now, your actions led to, and you said the documentary series is called No Address, Columbia SC, and then when you're in Atlanta, it's No Address, Atlanta, GA. What were you hoping to accomplish with these projects?
Well, back then, my goal was to break down stereotypes, to bring awareness of what's going on and break down the stereotypes of what you think or perceive the unsheltered to be. And a lot of the people that are in the documentary, you would never even know that they were unsheltered unless they told you. So I wanted people to know that there's no look or act or whatever that comes with unsheltedness, right? So that was the first thing. And then Atlanta, I really delved into the system to see how this really began. Like, well, how did we get here, right? And it's like following the rabbit hole. So I see that this is very systematic, and I'm exposing the system and showing how government has really played a big part of this, or lack thereof.
Yeah, to do these documentaries, you partnered with the National Coalition for the Homeless.
Not to do the documentaries now.
Oh.
That was a totally different project.
Okay.
Yes.
And what would you say to some of the biggest challenges when you were making the documentaries?
Challenges, I really didn't have any challenges because a lot of people didn't know I was doing it. And I didn't want people to know I was doing it, only the people that needed to know I was doing it, because there was going to be backlash. I knew there was going to be backlash. So I moved in silence and secret. And then when it was revealed, it was, whoa, this is our city being exposed. Yes. And we need to do better, right? So the only challenges I really had was more internal, to finish it and complete it, because it was so heavy at times. And like I said, I am the empath, so I took on a lot of that energy, and I had to put it down for a while. One of them, 6 months before I could come back to it. Yeah, it was that heavy. So that was mostly the challenges I had, but nothing outside.
I mean, that's understandable. Now you just mentioned the No Address Foundation, and aside from the building project, what other things do you have planned with the No Address Foundation?
No Address Foundation, yes. So we're still moving and grooving on obtaining land, getting grants, and trying to get this model done in a state that is more progressive. I'm just going to say that. And then once we get that model done, we can take this around the country, because people are like, I have to see it first in order to achieve it in our city or our state. So we're going to start in Georgia, and they're definitely progressive. They already use the shipping container models, and that's what we plan on doing. One of my board members, he's at a manufacturing company, and we will be building shipping container style homes for low-income families.
I've heard about that. There was always converting shipping containers into homes, but they actually construct them that way?
Yes, they construct them that way. Yes, and they can withstand a Category 5 hurricane. So they're very sustainable and can be insulated where it can be heat and cool and save you on your energy bill. So that's what I want one. You know? So,
yeah, in this state, yes.
yes, right? And then on top of that, I revamped my podcast called the No Address Podcast. We're using that name for everything, no address, right?
Mm-hmm.
For branding purposes. But yes, I started that so I can to change the narrative of what we perceive homelessness is in the media and in our daily lives. So they have one way of reporting, and I'm showing the truth. So that's how that documentary is. So that's that podcast. So that's a once a month podcast, trying to do like a weekly, but bear with me.
Okay, so if people want to watch the document, where can they see it?
Yes, you can just go on my website at noaddressdocumentary.com. I have links to all of the platforms, or if you want to just go straight to the platform, you can do Tubi, Prime, YouTube, Folsom. There's a few platforms that are out there.
Okay, and I believe that we are going to have a list of the way you can actually watch or link into the documentaries in this video. All right, well, I want to thank Caletta Harris for joining us today. Thank you for bearing with us. And we wish you more Emmy Awards and other awards in your future.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, this has been What's Out There, and I'm Gregory Marshall Smith.
Being harassed. We can't be in the parks. You know, we can't be at the bus transit stations. Law enforcement is subject to pull up on us and tell us, you know, hey, you can't sit here, you can't stand there, you have to move on.
They took up all the benches in town so that nobody could sit down anywhere.
I done went to jail down here in Raleigh, North Carolina, 4 times since I've been down here.
I don't think it should be a crime for being homeless.
It's more like out of sight, out of mind.
How do you criminalize somebody's situation?
They're called ordinances, but they're usually city laws that make it a crime to sleep in public, to sit in public, to lie down in public, to sleep in a car, to beg for help, to eat sometimes in public. I mean, they just take a variety of different forms.
They was talking about rounding homeless people up and put them in something like a concentration camp.
Our literature says 3.5 million people. If people knew the true number of homeless people, if we documented that true number of homeless people, we don't have the resources to address the problem. And that is a statement directly from an elected official.
Since 1995, the Department of Housing and Urban Development has not given us any money to build housing.
Gentrification is the only housing policy that this city has. Atlanta's housing policy is gentrification. That's it.
I want to do more for myself and getting myself out of this homelessness so I can pay for me a home.
But when you have no address, getting just a decent, regular, scheduled job, virtually impossible.